And so, you know, we've been really indoctrinated with this culture of permission. I think it's true for women, I think it's true for people of color. It's historic, and it's unfortunate. It's something that has somehow become embedded in our DNA. And that time has passed. Right. So it's about trying to figure out, you know, the times when you're getting stuck in that moment and we don't even know it. Right. And I found that happening for myself when I went to transition from a career to listening to filmmaking, which is so high in the sky. It's like, oh, you're going to direct films?
And what's that moment where you were like, I'm not going to do publicity anymore, I have vision, I want to share my stories. What was that moment?
Well, I mean, I wanted to do it, but you know, that voice in your head that talks you out of doing things, the voice in your head that says you're not qualified, or people will laugh, or you don't have permission to do this. And I just started to keep game. I just started to watch men, white men. It's like, fantastic. Do whatever the hell they want. Say what they want, say what they want. Okay, well, maybe I'll try it. And you know, not with a sense of ego or with a sense of privilege, but with a sense of personhood. Like, I can also ask for what I want. I also deserve to do what I want to do, and to try to step into something unafraid. And so it's not easy, but it's something that I try to retrain myself in my own thinking about my life. I'm just really interested in illuminating the magnificence of the lives of Black people. I feel like there hasn't been enough representation of that cinematically. And when I say magnificence, that is the complexity, you know, the positive, the negative, the everything between, the full body nature of Black lives. That's what I'm committed to, that's what I'm most interested in. Maybe one day that'll change, and I want to make a film about, I don't know, some white boys. I don't know. It could happen. But as of now, my interest is in that centering of, you know, the Black body, the Black mind, the Black spirit, and in narratives that feel fresh, that feel interesting. You know, when I started Summit, it felt fresh to me. I was like, it's a little fresh to me. Not my favorite. And so my challenge was to tackle that in a fresh way, so that was interesting to me. So as an artist, you know, it's always trying to find my way in. Right. It was a David Oyelowo. I mean, it was a really unlikely thing, because if it had been a normal process, I wouldn't have had the job. A normal process where producers think of a list of directors, I wouldn't have been on the list. They call on those directors to meet with them and give their version of it. I wouldn't have been called to that. I know that because I'm never called and I'm never on the list. So I wouldn't have been, you know, and reasons really so. I mean, I haven't done anything that would make them think that I could do this. When you're dealing with people, and that's the industry mostly, who needs to have connective tissue for everything, or legacy for everything. Or she knows this person knows her, so it's okay. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have that connective tissue to the industry, and so it was very much on the outside. So it's David Oyelowo who plays Dr. King so beautifully, who I had cast in My Small Little Nowhere. And he had been cast as King by the previous director, Lee Daniels. When Lee Daniels left the project, David fought to bring on a director of his choice. And so by the time I got the call, it was very much, would you like to join us? It wasn't a pitch, which is a good thing, because I don't pitch. I stopped doing that about 5 years ago. So I wouldn't have been in that room, even if they had called me, probably trying to pitch my take on something. I just think it's just, I can't rewrote it. That's all you can do. It caused me a lot of anxiety, and you and I have talked about this as friends after the fact. But, you know, to have your words, someone else's name in the words. But I have come into peace with it. Yes. And no, I've come to peace with it, because ultimately, and I don't really help me understand this, my intention was to, I didn't mean to just name drop a little bit. I'm opening on the Winfrey. Then what was your intention in telling the story and all the things that you wrote? You know, what was your intention? And my intention was for the story to be moved from that perspective. And she says, well, then you've succeeded. That's done. So what is the thing about the name? And, you know, that's ego. So make sure you check that and focus on what your intention was with sharing the story. So you succeeded. So It's a very polite way to think of it. It took me a while to get that in my head. But I can feel that now, so I'm fine. It's true, the statistics on that are also really frightening, really scary. And so that scene had originally been, and I had written a scene previously, that scene had been them talking about, you know, Martin wants this, Martin was in there. And maybe 2 days before we're about to shoot the scene, I was thinking, you know, there's an opportunity here to have them talk about their part in the movement. And so it's a scene where Lorraine Toussaint talks about, you know, the blood of our ancestors in our veins giving us the strength to move forward. And as Mrs. King talks about her own fears within the movement. And so it just takes that intention for us to rewire our thinking. And luckily I was able to think about that before we shot it, but Lorraine was like, here's a great scene here talking about our husbands. And they were great to this, like the day after we learned dialogue and turn it to be. No, because at the time that we had made it, you know, that Mike Brown was murdered while we were in the editing room, so Ferguson happened while we were in the editing room. There was still the residue of Trayvon Martin, and as a black woman, the residue of all of the other deaths that had been amplified and had caught fire on social media. Since as for as long as I can remember, it's just a part of the fabric of so many African-American communities, especially where I'm from in Compton. And so what we're feeling now, the Black Lives Matter movement, social media and personal recording devices, capturing some of the police aggression and injustices is that's new in its form, but it's not new in what it's capturing. And so all of that was a part of our process, but certainly we had no way to know that you would have Eric Gardner and Mike Brown and Walter Scott and Freddie Gray and on and on and on, amplified in such a way that was, you know, started a national conversation that someone was a part of. And just a part of it in the way of saying this is a continuum. What you're feeling now is not new, this has been going on. And to look at some strategies and some tactics and the ways that they tackle it in. Not for this to be repeated, but what's the continuation? What's the next level? What is, you know, that movement 2.0? And maybe nonviolent, it may not be nonviolent. Maybe legislative, it may be grassroots, it may be violent, maybe, but we need to be thinking about next steps because I think for a while as a nation we fell into a little complacency about it, and so I think this is a good time. Well, just to clarify what I thought about the whole leader thing, I just think in all kinds of movements, artists have played a part in it, but I don't think the artists are the leadership. Artists are the reflection or the instrument by which, you know, some things are amplified. If I can be a part of that, I definitely am. There are people on the ground, like, super organizing and leading in ways that, you know, they don't sit on stages. And so,
There are different types of leadership.
yeah, so, you know, the artist part of it, I accept and I'm happy to be a part of. And social media, it's just, I don't think of it as an extra thing. Like during filming, I use my Facebook as a journal. So things that I would think of during the day, associations that I would see, pictures that I would see or want to take. At the end of the day, is I'm just thinking about the things I'm grateful for in the day, a post will come up. I think that's the difference with, I talked to some filmmaker friends, just can't get their arms around the social media. Just do it, just post
The
stuff.
social media.
Yeah, just Instagram. Look, I can't. It's like, how do you get Facebook and Instagram and Twitter? Like, well, are you 95? But some people have fun with it. They really do. And so I just think for whatever reason, I'm grateful. Maybe I'm on it too much. I just took a social media hiatus. I was off I tried to stay off for 10 days. The gram. I tried to stay off the gram for 10 days. But then David Oyelowo and Niecy Nash got nominated for Emmys, and I had to get on just going forward. And then Sandra Bland.
Yes.
And I had to hashtag that and just acknowledge that, try to draw people to that, and then I'm back on. This draws me back in. But for me, it's very much like a conversation that I'm having. So I don't think of it as a tool for publicity, even though it can be that. You know, I'm trying to raise money for something, I call attention to something, yes, but in my everyday, it's like you're using it. It's just.
Yeah, we're
But we have to understand that there are people who really have a problem with it. And you cannot laugh at those people, as I've been told. And I was the first one to be like, oh, I'm good with it.
People have a problem just figuring out how to do it.
Just figuring out how to do it.
Yeah. Well, there are people who teach them.
People are teaching them. I was actually in a conversation with a sister the other day, said, I don't know man who's on social media. It's like, wow, now it's getting into like, specs of the manual. I was like, like, word? I'm confirmed, it's signed, it's done. She's going to Atlanta to start working. It's like, people are picking up this fact. This was really an enlightening day in terms of the quality of journalism. Films and so many films. That's not a film person. I'm a film geek. She's a film geek, so we're talking about it like it's, film. But the main thing is when you think about film, when you go to the multiplex, just understand that those are handpicked films. Those films are being curated for you. Your scope of what you are allowed to watch is being handpicked by people in another place who don't look like you, who don't share what you think or what's important to you. But they think these films, like a lot of people would probably like this film. So it doesn't matter the nuances and complexities. This is kind of really general, so this is safe to put out there. And you lose all the nuance, all the beauty, all the things that make us different and wonderful. And so that's what, independent film is, particularly independent film of color, independent film by women. We don't have to really reach you. So as you go to the multiplex and you look at whatever's there, just understand this is what they think you'll like. And, that's wrong. So you've got to look deeper. So just invite people to search for other artists. Those things are like Disneyland. Like go to Disneyland, it's exciting, have a moment, and then you go back home and watch your clothes and get ready for work the next day. Like that, and I've had a lot of Disneyland trips in the last 6 months, so that's fantastic. But not enough to make me think this isn't Disneyland. Like not enough to make me think, I live in Disneyland. Like you're visiting this on this day, it's really nice. But no, those are wonderful moments, and if they help me be able to make films for a longer time, fantastic. And it's fun. It's meeting a lot of really interesting people, and I think that's part of the challenge, and I think why this gathering is so amazing. It's so often, and I think so much in our society and our culture, it's so individual, and you can definitely spend 2 weeks just you and your iPad and your laptop and really think that you're connected. And you are in a way. There's something about actually being in the room with people and just doing the old-fashioned this that is necessary. It's necessary and it's nourishing. And so the great thing about Selma was allowed me is just to go around the country, meet people, talk to people look me in the eye and tell me what they think or what they feel about the film or otherwise. Is more powerful than a tweet. Right. And so that's the biggest gift for this stuff. It's a big thing that I've been learning because all these rooms that I'm going to, really fancy people. No one does one thing. Like the fanciest people, like the people that are really doing it. It's like, wow, they got that, and that. And it all goes to their core, who they are and what they care about, but no one has all their eggs in the basket. This one doesn't have awards, you got the Phoenix Film Festival, you got the blogs, you got the speakers, you got the book, I think at one point I was thinking, gosh, can I do a firm, distribute other people's films, and also do my own filmmaking, since my filmmaking is I'm gonna just do my filmmaking. But no, so I'm interested in this, and I can do more than one thing at one time. So if there's anything, and I said some fancy people, good, I can name drop, I'm not gonna, because that's boring. But I'm just doing it to tell you. I wish I could tell you the names so you really believe me. And if you really look at the people that you admire, they don't all do one thing. And so I would say it's okay to think about doing more than one thing as it relates to the blog, as it relates to your business. That's just something that I've learned over the past 2 or 3 months as I've been trying to make a decision about which way to go. I don't have to choose. I can kind of, okay, let me try that out. It's another thing that a good friend told me the other day. Okay, it's over. It was really important what she said. She had talked about someone telling her, God, I'm going to tell the story, I'm scared. Let me take this story. She had said she was, the challenging time that she had during at home. A lot of people were being, really salty towards the network in its early days. It's public record. It's just, I wasn't doing well when it started. And, she's such a giving person that she, was hurt by what wasn't happening with, not from an ego place, but in feeling like she had let down her viewers and her audience. And she was talking to some other really well-known business people who were like, sure. That's one of like a whole bunch of things. And she's like, no, this is the thing. And they're like, she needs to have 20 other things. She's like, no, it's all in this, because we put everything into the one thing in front of us. And she started to see how these other business people, huge moguls, they didn't care as much about the things that they diversified with. And so what she was trying to figure out is, I need to be diverse, but how can I care deeply about all the things that I have? Right. And when she started to click into that, Owen started studying Owen's doing amazing now. It's just a disconnect between holding on to something too tight, diversifying, and thinking about it from an emotional place, a personal place, but also from a place of safety within having everything all over the place. So I would just answer the question, I know the answer to the truth because I'm dealing with myself, don't put all the eggs in one basket. And she's proof of when you let it go, you open up a little bit more, what happens. Like I said, you gotta follow the white guys, truly. They got this thing wired, and because, and so often, we live within their game, within their structure, within their industry. That's the industry that I work in. So why would you not study what works, Take away the bad stuff, because there's a lot, and use the savvy, interesting stuff and try to figure out how that can apply. And so, something to think about as ladies.
Ladies. So tell us what you're doing next, because I think people are really interested in hearing how you navigate success and not put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, well, I'm expanding the firms. We have a big announcement that's really exciting things coming out in August, which I'm really happy about. I've moved from just doing films into television as well, so I'm developing a series right now. I'm really excited about, so we'll see how that goes. So TV and film, acquired a couple books as well, which is a new thing.
To write and produce?
For me to,
yeah.
I've always had that. Okay. Yeah. It's called Forward Movement. And so yeah, just trying to figure out those pieces, and then also, film means a lot to me, so expanding that, not just focusing on film, but television too, which is really exciting right now. And I'm going to be shooting something in virtual reality. So that's the new thing right now that all the boys play with. Actually, no, there's like a few boys like over the corner. I was like, what are you guys playing with? Oh, nothing. It's like these new virtual reality cameras, and it will be the future of storytelling. In about 2 years for Christmas, your kids and your young people will be wanting to put a thing over their eyes that lets them see a scene. So if this was a scene in a movie, and you were standing in the middle of the room, you could see people at the back, you could see what we were doing, you can see behind the stage. You're in virtual reality, everything your eye can see. And so what exciting time as a filmmaker, and when I shoot a film, I just shoot a 1-shot or a 2-shot, or then I cut to her. And so that's how I cut it. Then I have a camera up there, I get a wide shot to show the room. But no, now it's like that guy up there, I gotta tell the whole story of the room. It's really exciting and scary, but I don't know how to do it. If they have it over in the corner, I don't know how to do it. So, I shoot my first one just to experiment